So we are live here. We'll wait on some people here to join in before we start this selection show. Let me see if I can go. Just sharing this link here so we can get some more people in. So just hang tight. Chat is open as well. I'm just getting the link shared. All right. There we go. We'll just wait for a few other people to get here. Hopefully everybody is having a good weekend. And while we're waiting here, have a bucket or a bowl, I guess, here. Betty Crocker. Can't go wrong there. Just with all of the names of the roller coasters and the logos are in here. And I'm just going to pick out a name and then I'll put the logo on the screen. I think I can do that. What is up, NoCo? Is it Prods? NoCo Prods? We're going to get started here soon. I just want to wait to see if anybody else will join. I know this was rescheduled from yesterday, so I understand if not a lot of people can make it. I'm just excited to have some fun here. So we'll give it a little bit of time here, just to see if anybody else joins in. Maybe we'll get started at 8:45 with selecting. That'll be the first selection, 8:45. And what we'll do is we'll just do the first two will be matchup number one. All of these will be voted on X. So we'll get started drawing these. We'll give a little bit more time for people to get in here. And I should probably get my logos ready. Well, hopefully you're having a good night, dude. A good weekend. Like I said, we'll wait on a couple more to show up here, and we'll start selecting these at 8:45. I'm doing all right. This weekend we got the pool like ready to go, and it's all ready to be swam in, so that's fun. The water's finally getting warm. All right, we got about 6 minutes here, and we'll start selecting these. Most of the logos, hopefully. By the way, can you hear me all right? Does everything sound okay? I didn't really test that out beforehand. This is also like my first time going live on YouTube. So we can also like I guess there's the news that Top Thrill 2 is going to open tomorrow. How's that? Are we excited for Top Thrill 2 to reopen? Supposedly tomorrow. Yeah, well, I feel like it should be as long as there's not another cracked support if that's what the issue really is, which it looks like it. Interesting. A cable on the spike, yeah. Something happened to the spike, and it looks like they were working on it. Was it today? I think I saw pictures of people like working on the spike while the park was open. Yeah, it could be both. I'm wondering if the forces that were being displaced with the new like dampeners were like creating extra force on the spike, which they did not think about. Could be. All right, we got 3 minutes here, and I'm just gonna start selecting them. I'll save this to YouTube, and whoever wants to watch it can go back and watch. Yeah, it would be nice if they were more open about it, but I also know that it's Cedar Point and they're never open about anything. Which, I mean, I get it. It is what it is. I want to do one last thing here. I think I can get it in before we start selecting. Um, what? Okay. Should love it when you can't remember a password, but you swear you're typing in the right one. Hmm. There we go. And give me. All right, we're just going to start selecting here soon. I'm just making this here. Okay, so let's get after this here. So, like I said, real, real, real kind of I don't know even the words I'm looking for. Just it's not very fancy here. What's up, Coaster Joe? Hope everything is good with your weekend. So I'm just gonna get started here with drawing our first matchup, which I'll just put the logo on the screen with whatever coaster I pick out, and the first two will be our matchup number one. So let's get this rolling here. Let me see what I pull out here. Okay, so let me take a look here and see if I can get this on my. I don't even know if I can do this. This is you're walking through me. You're walking through this with me here. This is trial. So I think I can share a screen. Here we go. So matchup number one is going to. What's up, Buckeye 8? Matchup number one is going to be starting off with Outlaw Run. A little RMC action there. And I will eventually, I'll get better at this. I'll work on it. This was just kind of last minute planned. So, get that off here. All right. So, get this over here. All right. So, what is going to be the coaster that goes up against Outlaw Run? Take a look here. Okay, this is an interesting matchup. So it's going to be Outlaw Run against Poltergeist. All right, so we have an RMC. This might be, I feel like, a landslide for Outlaw Run, possibly. So if you have any thoughts about that matchup, just let me know in the chat. RMC versus a Premier launch coaster. I'll take it. Like I said, I think it'll be a landslide. All right, so moving on. Can you see these logos that I'm putting out here, by the way? They might be blurry. They're like blurry for me. All right. Matchup number 2. Let's see what we get. All right. So the first coaster in matchup number 2 we have is Manta. So flying coaster. Go ahead. B&M Flyer. I don't have this credit. Looks fun though. What's going to take on Manta? I feel like we're getting some good matchups here. Like very different coasters. All right. What am I looking for here? So taking on Manta is going to be Zambezi Zinger. All right, that should be an interesting one. I don't know who would take that. I don't know if there's been a lot of people that have been out to ride Zambezi Zinger, the new one, but I know that a lot of people like Manta, so could be bad for that GCI. All right, so matchup number 3, we're starting off with. Let me get that out of here. Yeah, let me pull up one of my top 10 coasters here. Millennium Force. I'm like kind of worried to know what it's going to, like what logo is going to take on Millennium Force. I mean, Millennium Force doesn't have like the best logo, but that is an iconic logo, I feel. That's just my personal opinion. All right, so let's see here. What's taking on Millennium Force? This could be interesting. Oh my god. All right, so taking on Millennium Force in round 1 is El Toro. Poor Millennium Force. That's going to be a good one there, I feel. That's going to be a good, tough fought matchup. All right, so moving on to matchup number 4. Matchup number 4, starting off with Steel Vengeance. I still have this up here. What am I doing? So we have Steel Vengeance. Who's going to take on? This could be a good matchup too, depending on what we pull here. Ooh. I feel like this one's going to be a wipe, a clean a sweep, because Steel Vengeance is taking on Adrenaline Peak at Oaks Park. Good logo. I like that. It's a tough draw for Adrenaline Peak. All right, so we're on to number 5. We'll get better at this next year. I still want to kind of do the manufacturer showdown. Might have to bring that back. Anyway, all right, matchup 5. We're starting with one of the coasters that I really enjoy. Possessed. We all know I love a good Intamin Impulse coaster. Now, I hope it doesn't get a tough draw in the first round. So who's going to take on Possessed? Because that's a gnarly logo. All right, let's see. Who's taking on Possessed? Let's see here. I keep pulling out 2, and I don't want to do that. I only want 1. All right. Here it is. Oops. So taking on Possessed is Apollo's Chariot. That's going to be a decent matchup, I feel. Two pretty good logos. I mean, one's just words with some like flames or wings, I guess that would be. All right. Matchup number 6. Boring. All right. So that starts off with a great logo. Is it not going to pop up for me? What's going on here? Did I click it? There it is. Here it comes. There it is. So Diamondback. What a good logo. That's going to be tough for whoever's taking on Diamondback. And no, we're not using, and Montugani is not in this tournament. So it'd be two eerily similar logos if it was. All right. What's going to take on Diamondback? Yep. That's just happening. Diamondback versus Fury. Might be a tough matchup for Diamondback. So it's Diamondback versus Fury. And this is Diamondback at Kings Island versus Fury 325 in round 6. All right. So where are we at here? Matchup number 7. I'm just trying to try to fly through these as fast as I can because there's 30 of them. This is going to be a long summer tournament since everybody else does theirs in the spring. All right. So matchup number 7 starts with one of the best hypers in the world, Skyrush. We all know that is Coaster Heat's favorite hyper. Okay. So what is going to take on Skyrush here? Could be a good battle. Oh, this might be a little easy because Skyrush is taking on Patriot at Worlds of Fun. I don't know though. That might be a better logo than Skyrush because it's the logo that we're voting on and not the actual ride. And Skyrush just has words. All right. So we're on to matchup 8. All right. We're starting off with, we're going down to Florida for this one. We'll start off with Pipeline, the surf coaster. It's a decent logo. I like the little guy surfing on coaster track. All right, what's going to take on Pipeline? Pick it out right here. We are going to go to Missouri for this one and have our second coaster from Silver Dollar City, Fire in the Hole. Going to be a good battle there. I feel like it would be. All right, so that is matchup number 8. We're on to number 9. We're getting there, folks. Still got a lot to go through. All right, so matchup number 9, we're starting with a California park. And Medusa at Discovery Kingdom. All right, so what's going to take on Medusa? Oof, it's going to be a tough one. So we're going to go to Indiana, and Medusa is going to take on the Legend. Nah, that's such a good logo. I feel like this one's going to go far. I don't know. It's just me. Just what I feel. All right, so we're on to number 10. So the first coaster in the 10th matchup, back to California, and we're starting things off with X2. Now the question is who or what logo is X2 going to have to go up against? Could be interesting. Okay. For this coaster logo, we're going to Pennsylvania. Back to Hershey Park for Candemonium. So X2 versus Candy. It's going to be a good matchup, I feel. I mean, that's an interesting logo there with the candy actually in there, but it's possible that could it overdo or outdo or win against X2? Maybe. All right. Number 11, matchup number 11. Kicking things off with, okay. I got to remember the name of this park. There it is. We're going to Tusenfried because Storm the Dragon Legend is a logo that is pretty cool. It's a pretty good logo. All right, so what is this logo, or what logo is going to have to match up against this one? All right. I feel like this is going to be a good matchup here. Now, some of these I couldn't find like really good photos of them, of the logos, so it is what it is. But yeah, Storm the Dragon Legend going up against Boardwalk Bullet. That is a good matchup. Those are two really good logos. All right, we're on to number 12. All right. First coaster, the Voyage. Will the one that I draw take down possibly the best wooden coaster logo? Remember, it's all about the logo. Let's see here. It's possible. I feel like it's possible. Here we go. Because we have Voyage taking on Gold Striker. I mean, it is a good matchup there. All right, so we're on to matchup number 13. And the first coaster that I am pulling up out of this bucket is Leviathan. All right, who's going to take on this Canadian Giga Coaster? logo. All right, let's see here. It only makes sense, I feel like. This is a good matchup. Oops. So taking on Leviathan is Gatekeeper. What a matchup. Two, like, beasts. Okay. We're on to 14. We're almost halfway there, folks. All right. So the first coaster logo in matchup 14. People are going to like this one, I feel. Because we have Ride to Happiness. Everybody talks very positively about that coaster. All right, so taking on Ride to Happiness is a wooden coaster, the Grizzly. And this is CGA Grizzly. California, Great America, the Grizzly. All right, we've made it halfway. So matchup number 15. We've made it halfway. So right now, Grizzly is taking on Ride to Happiness in round number 1 in round 14. Matchup number 14, not round 14. All right. So matchup 15. That is going to start with a coaster that is in Pennsylvania. Wildcats Revenge. All right. So what does Wildcats Revenge need to match up against? Okay. We're crossing the pond again. Because Wildcats Revenge is going to take on the Smiler. I think that might be tough for Wildcat, but also, I don't know, because people really do like the Smiler's logo. All right, so we're on to the matchup 16. What I pull out here. All right. First coaster, Pantheon. All right, so what is Pantheon going to have to match up against? Well, look at that. It has to match up against a coaster in its own park. Verbolten. Wow. That's what happens sometimes. All right, so we're on to matchup number 17. And all right, classic one coming up here. So the first coaster in matchup 17 is the Beast at Kings Island. Classic logo right there. All right, so the Beast in matchup 17 will have to take on a coaster out in California. And where am I going here? So the Beast is going to have to take on Tatsu. That's going to be a good matchup, I think. Really good logos there. Really good logos. All right. So we're on to matchup 18. And we're going to start off back in Missouri because we have Prowler. All right, so who's Prowler going to have to go up against? Because that's a really good logo, too. Kind of cartoonish, but still pretty good. All right, so Prowler has the honors of taking on Mako. That's a good logo right there. All right, so we're on to matchup 19. And the first coaster in matchup number 19 is going to be Mamba. Worlds of Fun. That's like a classic logo to me. I feel like it is. Reminds me of like King Cobra at King's Island for some reason. I mean, obviously it looks like a cobra. All right, so taking on Mamba is right now the coaster that is being most talked about in the industry. Top Thrill 2. Interesting. What a matchup. All right, we're on to matchup number 20. Almost to the end here. All right, so the first coaster in matchup number 20, we are going back to California because we have Twisted Colossus. I like this logo. It's very steampunkish. All right, so what coaster's taking on the Twisted Colossus logo? Pull this out and find out. All right, so taking on Twisted Colossus is going to be Raptor. Man, that's such a good logo. I like Raptor's logo a lot. All right, what coaster's taking on Raptor's logo? I'm sorry. Not taking on Raptor's logo. Raptor's taking on Twisted Colossus. The first coaster in matchup 21 is probably one of my favorites. The Exterminator logo. Such a cool logo there. All right. So what coaster is going to take on the Exterminator logo? Ooh, good matchup here, I feel like. So the Exterminator is going to take on Steel Eel. Interesting matchup. All right. Matchup number 22 is going to start off with a new for 2025 coaster being Rapterra. It's a pretty good logo, I feel. The question is it good enough to beat whatever I pull out right here? I'm sorry, Rapterra. I'm sorry to do this to you. Because Rapterra is going up against Maverick. I don't know. I mean, they're two good logos. Okay. Yeah. Rapterra does have a good logo. That's a good one. All right. So we're on to matchup number 23, which I feel like this is possibly the favored logo to win the tournament, possibly. So starting this one off with Banshee. It's so good. Whoever designed that deserves an award. All right. So the question is what coaster has to take on Banshee in the first round? Ooh. All right. You ready for this one? Because Banshee is taking on Time Traveler. Another good logo. That's tough. I mean, I feel like Banshee should take that. I feel like Banshee should take it, but it's going to be close. You're right. Yeah, Time Traveler has a good logo. All right. Moving on to matchup number 24. The first coaster in this matchup. Let's see here. Is going to be Wicked Cyclone. That's decent. It's a decent logo, I feel, but I feel like if I pulled that out one round earlier against Banshee, there's no way, I feel. All right, so what's going to take on little Wicked Cyclone here? I don't even know how or who said this coaster to put in this tournament, but I did for you, even though I don't like this coaster very much. So Wicked Cyclone is going to be taking on Tempesto. Is that an easy win for Wicked Cyclone? Is this even the real logo for Tempesto? I could like not find anything. Yeah, it's an interesting one. All right, so yeah, matchup number 25. First coaster going in. And somehow the only logo from this park, Montu. So that's such a cool logo. I think I might feel bad for whoever has to take on this logo, unless I can't remember what other coasters are in here. All right. They do. They really do have good logos. So Montu is going to have to take on everyone's favorite almost Giga Coaster, if you know what I'm talking about. Orion. It is a Giga. Is it? Is it a Giga? It's possible. Okay. I agree. It's a Giga. Just barely. No, I'm just kidding. It's a good one. All right. So, matchup 26. We're getting close to the end here. So, matchup 26. We're kicking things off with the OG Hyper. Old Magnum. I mean, it's a logo. It is a logo. It is one of the logos. Yep. It did start the wars. But the question is right now is what logo has to take on this beauty? Ooh, I feel like this. We're pitting. Okay, I'm gonna say this here right now. We're pitting two arrows against each other right here, and Magnum might not stand a chance because Magnum's gonna have to take on Loch Ness Monster. I'm sorry, Magnum. It's possible you don't win that matchup. Yeah, poor Magnum, but it's okay. I feel like Magnum probably is the better coaster, just doesn't have the better logo. All right, what are we at here? Number 27. Getting down to the nitty gritty here. All right. So this coaster that I'm about to show up here that starts off round 27 is one that really surprised me and is one of my favorites now. Steel Force. And that logo is probably in my top 3. I love that logo so much. Yeah, Steel Force is that's a great logo. Very menacing. But the question is, like I've been saying, is what logo is going to have to take on this one? Ooh. Pitting rival parks against each other. Dorney versus Hershey because we have Storm Runner. Dang, that's going to be a good matchup there, I think. I actually don't know who could win that one. All right. So, what was that? That was 27? Yeah. I'm writing these down as I go. All right. So, matchup number 28, kicking things off with a coaster that is overseas. So, the first one being, did not want to open. There it is. Fly, or I guess FLY. Very interesting logo, I feel. So Fly is going to have to take on a coaster, a really good coaster logo, I think. So it'll be Fly versus Twisted Timbers. Yeah, I feel like Twisted Timbers takes that one, possibly. Unless we have a lot of Fly logos in our fans in our house and in our midst. All right, so 29. Starting off with Six Flags, Great America, and their RMC, Goliath. I like that logo. So Goliath taking on another coaster not too far from there, really. Renegade at Valley Fair. I feel like this is a really good logo. Really good logo, I feel. Okay. Yeah, there is going to be a lot of close ones, I think. I think these are a lot of good matchups that we have here. All right, so starting off the last round here. I think I'm missing one. 1 second here. Just had a blank. All right, I'm gonna have to figure out which one this is. What the question is? All right, so the first coaster, anyway, in the last matchup is at SeaWorld San Antonio with Great White. So that's a really good logo. That's going to be a tough one to beat for whichever one I'm missing here. I need to figure out which one I'm missing. And I think I know which one it is. No? Maybe I don't. Let's see here. I think I have an idea of which one we're missing. Yep, there it is. Okay. So Great White is going against another CGA flight deck. Great White takes that one. Has to be, right? I feel like that's true. And I could have swore that there was something else, but I think I'm wrong. I think that's it. So that is our those are our matchups. We'll start these tomorrow. So round 1. Actually, no. Yeah, we'll start them tomorrow. Why not? So tomorrow we'll have Outlaw Run versus Poltergeist. And we'll do all of these. Yeah. So Mystic is not in here. And I thought it was, but it's not. It's missing. It's MIA. We'll have to do it we'll have to do it next we'll do it next year. I'm sorry. I must have missed that one if it was mentioned in comments or anything. But there's a lot to choose from, and it's possible that I wrote Twisted Timbers and meant to write Mystic Timbers. So I apologize for that. So let me go ahead and can I do this? I don't know how to undo this. I feel like Banshee will make it. Was this not? Whoa. I thought I was sharing the logos the whole time. Did you not? Were you not able to see the logos the whole time I was doing this? I had the maybe I don't know. Am I crazy to think that these were not showing up on the screen, or were they? Of course. I was literally sharing every logo like this. Would close out of it. Oh, maybe it ended because I closed my screen. Silly. See, these are the things I'll learn. I'll learn these because this is my first time going live on YouTube. So I'll remember not to close the entire window because that stops sharing your screen. Interesting. Maybe I'll have to edit this video and put the logos like up here or something in the corner, like behind me. But yeah, it's about an hour for the live stream. Anybody got any questions? How are we feeling about Top Thrill 2 opening tomorrow, possibly? I really do hope that it works out and they can get the coaster opened. Yeah. With like the issues that it's having, I want to make sure that it like has been running reliably for a while before I think about riding it again, I think. I just want to make sure it's safe with like the whole cracking and stuff of whatever happened to the trains, the stress fractures, and then like supports cracking and stuff. Like, I think I might sit riding out Top Thrill 2 until I know that it's okay. Yeah, it's just one thing after another. They just can't catch a break, and hopefully they figure it out. Hopefully they do because yeah. Yeah. I mean, so when I was at Top Thrill 2's media day, I talked to a bunch of people. Now, this is the park talking, so they could just be saying one thing when, who knows what's true. Um, they said when Top Thrill Dragster first went down, and they knew they weren't going to reopen it. I had interviews, and I have it all up on my. Do I have it up on my YouTube? If not, I'm going to repost it. From Media Day for Top Thrill 2, the president and everybody, they said that it might have been like the guy that was doing like all the construction update videos from like on their YouTube for Top Thrill 2, and he said that they like approached Intamin, or Intamin approached them first, and like they wanted Intamin to give them something like a plan to work on or update Top Thrill 2. And I guess their plan was to remove Iron Dragon and extend the layout. Uh, um, and they didn't want to do that. So we could have had something really cool. I know that we would have had to lose Iron Dragon, but to be fair, like Iron Dragon is possibly the worst of the suspended coasters. I mean, let's be honest. So we would have been out Iron Dragon and got a really cool like strata extended layout coaster, which I'm thinking it could end up being something like Accelerator with those two overbank turns. I don't know. Probably can't really do too many like intense maneuvers going that fast. I could be wrong, but they obviously want to keep in mind like injuries to people. And they probably just wanted to do like maneuvers to wear off that speed, I am assuming. But yeah, it would have been really cool. And like I wouldn't have shed a tear for Iron Dragon, to be honest with you. Not when you have Bat down at Kings Island, which is miles better. But yeah, and I guess so. Going back onto the story here is they provided those plans to the park to update Top Thrill 2. I don't know what type of launch or anything like that. But they didn't want to do that, so they I guess they put it out to bid, and they had multiple offers supposedly from multiple companies. Now, I don't know who these companies are, other than they said they obviously got one from Intamin, they got a plan from Zamperla, and they went with that one, which to me obviously was cost. It was the cost. They were going to do it the least, for the least amount of money, just because they're really new to this. So they just they took the cheap route, I feel, and I feel like they're really regretting it now. I wish I knew what other companies like made offers. Like if it was B&M, would it be Super Rattly? Yeah, budget cuts. Yeah, this has been an interesting year with the merger and everything, and everybody getting laid off, this, that, and the other. But man, I'm really upset about the screen not being shared. I was pulling up all those logos now for no reason. Oh man. Fun times. I'll have to edit this, and if I am able to, and put the coaster logos up there somewhere on the screen. So, who do you wish that it was? Do you wish that it was Intamin that did the update to Top Thrill 2? Yeah, extended dragster would have been cool. I feel like they would have definitely one went LSMs, two probably have way better trains because it's Intamin. They have one of the best restraints in the industry and have reliable trains. They don't have stress fractures, I think. I mean, you have obviously the whole thing that happened with Top Thrill 2, but that was just a freak accident. I mean, not Top Thrill 2, but Top Thrill Dragster. Um, I feel like, I mean, that's one out of however many trains they've ever built. and that was 20 years old. I'm just like picturing in my head, like with that land that Iron Dragon takes up, like what, like I can only, my mind runs wild with what that layout could have looked like. All right. So what I'm gonna do here is wrap this up. See here, you got another comment. Uh, yeah, I mean you're exactly right. Iron Dragon doesn't have the longest lifespan left. You could have done something really awesome, and you chose to have something that is less reliable than Top Thrill Dragster. If that is even, I mean, we would have. Who would have thought you bought something, got something updated, and promised it being more reliable? Yet here we are, less reliable, really. I mean, Top Thrill Dragster never like got shut down for a whole year for like issues that are happening on the ride. Like they needed to fix something during its whole lifespan until the very end with the accident. I'm talking about before that. You would have it would go down every once in a while, a couple days or whatnot, um, or just a couple times a day. But we all still got to ride it and ride it a lot. I have a lot of rides on Top Thrill Dragster, and I never had an issue with it going down. Yeah, and we get Top Thrill 2 down the entire first year other than what? 6 days? Something like that? It is what it is. I mean, I really hope they get it working and they get it to where there's nothing happening. Nothing's breaking down. They're not finding stress fractures. They're not finding supports that have been cracked already, which blows my mind. Like, how do you have a support that has cracked already? And it's really technically, I mean, technically it's in its second season, but it's really its first season because it hardly ran last year. No, I mean, I hope they figure it out because obviously I know a lot of people want to ride it that have not ridden it. I don't. I want my wife to ride it, but I don't know if she will just because she knows everything that's happened with this coaster. So it might take some talking her into. Yeah, I feel bad for Zamperla as well because when we were there on media day, they were so pumped because I mean that media day it was super reliable based off what we knew at the time because they just kept pumping out the trains. I mean it was a lot of it just ate through people. I mean as much as it could because it was media day and they had to get people situated with all the video and whatnot when they wanted their selfie POV on it. Um, but I mean, it didn't go down for any mechanical reasons when we were there for media day. So it is what it is. And once again, these going back to the tournament here of coaster logos that I obviously didn't show on screen, but I'll put them in the voting on X so everybody will see what two logos are matched up against each other. Um, but yeah, I know this is a Sunday night. I really wanted to do this on Saturday night. I feel like there would have been some more people hanging out. I know a lot of people had stuff going on tonight, so it is what it is. And I see somebody keep jumping in and out, so hopefully, hopefully they are cool too and want to stick around and hang out. But um, yeah, I feel like that's about. I know. I mean, I just want to, I plan on doing a lot of live streams just to chat and hang out. So we'll get more people in here eventually, and then hopefully, make this on like a Saturday night thing where I say maybe the majority of people don't have much to do the next day on Sunday morning, so they can kind of hang out. I mean, I would sit here and talk all night about coasters. Really, it could be easy. And another thing is maybe this winter, or maybe it'll be in the spring. No, let's do winter. I feel like winter time. I'm gonna do another tournament. One was gonna do a while ago before I took my break on everything here. Um, it was a matchup, a coaster manufacturer showdown. So it would be putting manufacturers against each other and people voting on them. So I want to bring that back too. I think that would be fun to see which manufacturer people like the best. I feel like it'll be a toss up between maybe, well, Mach is really coming on strong, so we'll see. I think I'll do that. We'll get through this in the summertime. Who knows how long this is going to take with 30 matchups and then counting down. Yeah, I think that was my plan. Is I was going to start that, last year. It was going to be I was going to start it in July. Um, and then I just took a little break, had to get away, take care of some things, and then yeah. So I want to bring that back. I agree. Yeah, we just need things to do in the off season because especially up here, up where we live in Ohio. I mean, this past winter was terrible. It was so cold. And then, man, it is just Top Thrill 2 is just taking over the conversation in the community right now. But I'm excited for announcement season, so we should be getting announcements sometime soon with these parks. Yeah, oh yeah, I know. I bet so. Anytime you see anything, it's always Top Thrill 2 related. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this stream because I need to see if I can edit this and then go to bed because I got to work in the morning. But we'll do this again and hopefully make it some type of a regular thing. So whoever wants to jump on can talk coasters. And yeah, I mean, even if it's just one person, I'm okay with that because it's fun to talk roller coasters. All right, so we'll start voting tomorrow, and then we'll see what happens with all these coasters. So, anyway, I hope everybody has a good night and you have a good week ahead. I'll talk to you soon.